What's up, Scott Balcom here, and I'm with Kessler Crane today, and Kessler has just now released the new version 2.5 of the CineShooter Remote App, and with a bunch of cool features as well. We're going to run through those changes in this video. First up, DragonFrame. Now, this feature is currently in beta, but it is working. So here's how to set it up. You'll need to connect your computer to CineShooter with a USB cable. Once connected, on CineShooter, move down to Settings, Operating Mode, then More, and choose DragonFrame. This will reboot CineShooter and dim the screen. Next, you'll want the latest version of DragonFrame, which is 5.0.6. Open DragonFrame, and on the menu, click Scene, then Connections, click Add Connection, then drop down Device and select Kessler MoCo. Now drop down Location and you should see Uber Shooter. Now Uber Shooter was used because it covers both CineShooter and CineShooter, plus it sounds cool. Now select it and then click Connect. It should turn green. Next, on the Arc Motion Control page, select the Add Axis button. Under the name, type Pan. Make sure Arc MoCo number 1 is selected and channel 1. And change the jog max speed to 32,000 steps, and then click OK. Click Add Axis again and name it Tilt. Select channel 2, change the steps to 32,000 and click OK. And you can now click the arrows to see the axis move in DragonFrame. Now you can repeat these steps for each additional axis. Now let's move on to some features and changes in the app. Now first up, you can now rotate your phone in horizontal mode for comfort or however you'd like. Simply rotate your phone. Now if you want to swap the controls and put the joystick on the left, click the gear icon in the bottom left-hand corner and toggle the Swap Horizontal Setup page layouts. And now the joystick's on the other side. Adding your phone to a PS4 controller is pretty easy now, and it's more like a little robot command center. And speaking of controllers, in the game controller settings, you can now assign 3 stop motion functions as well. There is stop motion picture, stop motion back, and stop motion next. Let's go back to vertical mode here. Now in the app settings gear icon, there is now a return to home speed. Now this can be adjusted with the plus or minus, or you can input a value. Input a value in between 1 and 100, and this will be scaled between 1 and 50% of your max speed. And that's just to keep it from returning home too quickly. Also, if you go down to motor settings, you can now select either aux1 or aux2 and change the axis type from one of the following. And this will allow you to label your axis. And this will work in the main page as well. Click Done, Done again, and now you see focus and iris and slider at the top. On the joystick setup page, emulation mode or manual move page, you can now view a helpful graph for the log type, so you can see the response curve by clicking the little eye at the bottom. And for entering a deadband value, you can now just click the plus or minus to increase, or just input a value of your choosing. Also, a quick note, when using the joystick or sliders, there's now a pre-programmed half a second of damping when stopping the motors, and this is just to keep things smooth and keep the axis from abruptly stopping. Another small improvement is when viewing keyframes. The keyframe you are currently on is now highlighted very clearly for you to see. On the live motion page, there is now a pause button that you can press anytime during a move, and you can resume it whenever you'd like. Also, for safety, you can now hit stop at any point when it's returning to home. This is just in case you need to make an emergency stop. On the time-lapse page, exposure is now selected from a list of common exposures, including fractional values. And entering a number, like the number of photos, can be done now with simple plus and minus, or you can type in a number, whatever you like, or you can now use a slider as well. They've also added haptic feedback to numerous controls like max speed, damping on the manual move page, ramping, and the play, stop, and pause buttons on the live motion and time-lapse pages. On the stop motion page, haptic has been added to the camera trigger, left, and right buttons. Now, Kessler keeps adding more and more features to CineShooter, and it just keeps getting better and better. And if you have an idea for a feature that you'd like to have, Kessler has added an easy way for you to submit that idea. Simply click at the bottom of the settings, submit a feature request, and, well, add it. So that's it. Those are the changes in the new version 2.5 CineShooter app. And when you're ready to unlock more powerful motion control, Kessler offers Chaos, the full-featured control platform on PC, Mac, and iPad. And if you have any questions about the app or any Kessler gear, head over to KesslerCrane.com and feel free to send them a link to your BTS and finished projects. They love seeing what you do with your Kessler motion control.